Trump was losing it in the White House, swearing, yelling, throwing maps, and telling Zelensky, you need to surrender to Putin or you will be destroyed. This is what the Financial Times has just put out in a major bombshell report, and we have to break it down. This happened during the closed-door portion of the meeting, and according to officials, Donald Trump started cursing nonstop as the meeting was spiraling down, to the point to where Trump was echoing Putin's own talking points. And then as Ukraine was showing Trump pictures of the map showing here's where things are, he said, quote unquote, and I'll read this for you, this red line, I don't even know where it is. I've never been there, which led him to say, if Putin wants it, he will destroy you. And then started adding in things which is pure Russian propaganda, such as Russia's economy is doing great. The exact opposite of what we've actually been seeing. Zelensky came to the United States after multiple weeks of talking to Trump, multiple phone calls, things were going in the right direction. It was one phone call with Putin which threw us back months and months of progress that had been going on. And now, not only is Putin demanding that Ukraine give up Donetsk, so is Donald Trump. And here's the crazy part. Donald Trump not only was speaking the Putin propaganda, but was even calling Russia's war a special military operation, which is like, what? So what does all this mean? We're back to square one, where Donald Trump is now bullying Ukraine into just giving up everything and rewarding Russia, even though in the past giving land to Russia had never worked, and he continued his war later on. And with no security guarantees that the United States is willing to provide, if Ukraine just gave up today, we are guaranteed a major war with Russia within the next coming years. It's pretty bad when Donald Trump speaks word for word what Putin says, because in a way, it almost seems like Putin is controlling Donald Trump when it comes to this situation. I'll be sure to keep you guys updated, so please do share my videos and follow me for more.
Oh my God, Trump was screaming at Zelensky at this past Friday's meeting, and you're not gonna believe what happened. Oh my God, Trump is just keeps basically copying what Putin has been saying and just echoing Putin's wants and needs. And he even threw a map of Ukraine's front line to the side, saying that he's sick of looking at these lines. He doesn't understand where it is. He's never been there. And that he basically is forcing and screaming at Zelensky, trying to force him to make a deal with Putin and basically give Putin those areas like Donbas region and some other areas that Putin is not even fully controlling at this point. Some he has like only portions of those areas occupied. This is what we're dealing with. This is absolutely insane. Like, Trump, one day he's saying that Russia's economy about to collapse and Ukraine is going to be victorious. And then this time he's saying that the Russian economy in this meeting, that it's doing great and that Zelensky should surrender. This is insane. Share this, spread the news. And if you want to support me, check out the links in my bio. You can find my store there where you can purchase this kind of hoodie and the hat that me and my brother designed and a bunch of other stuff. Thank you. Slava Ukraini.
Donald Trump just found out from a reporter that Israel broke the ceasefire deal in the Middle East, as he clearly has no idea what's going on. Now, this happened tonight on Air Force One, where Donald Trump decided to speak with reporters, and the issue of the ceasefire deal came up, and this happened.
Do you feel that Israel was justified with striking when it did?
Striking where?
In Gaza, today and overnight?
I'd have to get back to you on that. I'd have to get back.
What is it?
He had no idea that it was happening. And this is what people have been suspecting all along, that Donald Trump has no clue what's going on in the world, that everybody around him is actually the ones pulling the strings. That's why they're pushing so hard this auto pen scandal, because they want Biden to be guilty of what Donald Trump is clearly guilty of, or at least it seems that way. The fact that he has no idea that his ceasefire deal, something that he touted so highly, was broken, speaks loudly and goes towards the narrative that it's really Stephen Miller, it's really Marco Rubio and others that are in charge.
And welcome back to the Michael Cohen Show on our continued journey, to 500,000 subscribers. So let's get there. Hit subscribe, watch, comment, and share, and let's go, because the chaos doesn't stop. Now, look, Trump was in the Middle East for less than 48 hours. It was a great day. Why did he go there? To welcome the hostages back into Israel and then to speak at a peace summit in Egypt. As I said yesterday, these really are great steps in the right direction. But the second phase of negotiations for this peace treaty, obviously, are still underway. Now, on his way back to D.C. on Air Force One, he posted a very proud message on Truth Social. Let me show it to you. In it, he writes, heading back home to a very safe and beautiful Washington, D.C. Accomplished so much today in Israel and Egypt. A lot of work, but I wouldn't have it any other way. It was an experience like no other. Now, all of those great countries that have fought so long and hard for the region have to come together and get the job done. Gaza is only a part of it. The big part is peace in the Middle East. Let me be very clear about something. I remember, and I've told this story years ago, 2016, sitting with Trump, Ike Perlmutter, Henry Kissinger, and myself. And at that point in time, I'll never forget, he boldly stated to Henry Kissinger, yeah, I could get this done. Yeah, when I'm president, and by the way, he was president-elect at the time, when I'm president, I'll get this done. Well, pretty prescient, I'll tell you that. Now, the above-board diplomatic rhetoric didn't really last when he started, of course, worry about petty stuff. When he started ranting about a magazine cover photo. Let me show it to you. In it turns around and he writes, Time magazine wrote a relatively good story about me, but the picture may be the worst of all time. They disappeared my hair and then had something floating on top of my head that looked like a floating crown, but an extremely small one. Really weird. I never like taking pictures from underneath angles, but this is a super bad picture and deserves to be called out. What are they doing and why? Well, I could understand his disdain for this photo because truth be told, it really is a shitty picture. Let me show it to you. Yeah, I mean, not 100% certain why they did that, why they thought that this was an appropriate picture. There's obviously a reason why, and I'm sure it's not for a good reason. I don't know. I've actually had a photo done of me in Time magazine. Let me see if we have it. Certainly a much better angle than the one that they did for Donald. Now,
Donald Trump's ceasefire deal in the Middle East is officially over as Israel is bombing Gaza once again. Now, if you missed it, Israel has confirmed today that they are continuing to bomb southern Gaza in a complete violation of the ceasefire. And this is all on Donald Trump because he put more effort in the press conference to announce the ceasefire deal than he did in the ceasefire deal, but more importantly, the structure of how it's actually going to be carried out. Because at the end of the day, Donald Trump simply wanted to say, I stopped another war. And he did. He proclaimed that this was historic. And there was true peace in the Middle East because of him. And if that's the case, then this is a new war that's on him. If he stopped the last one that happened under Biden, then this 100% falls on Donald Trump. But the truth is, he's only after a Nobel Peace Prize. He's not trying to create new peace. And so all he's doing is trying to find a way to stand in front of a podium and declare, I am the champion of peace, I did it, and this is the result.
Donald Trump had an absolute meltdown on Truth Social this week after he got a glimpse of himself and how everybody actually sees him. That's right, folks. Donald Trump finally got to see just how hideous a specimen he truly is. And it happened with that absolutely hilarious Time magazine cover this week. See, Time magazine decided to do several fawning articles over Donald Trump, giving him far too much credit for things that he really didn't do himself, but okay. So you would think Trump would be happy. There were at least 3 stories in this issue of Time magazine praising him for Israel and Palestine and releasing hostages. But nope, Trump didn't focus on that. I don't even know if the man's able to read, but what he did focus on was the cover of the magazine. That basically made him look bald, because he is bald. And it kind of pulled all the skin around his neck down to where he looked like a balloon knot. Because that's what he looks like. But it was from a lower angle aiming up. So it was weird, sure. But Trump couldn't handle it. He couldn't handle seeing himself the way that other people see him. And this is what he said on Truth Social. Time magazine wrote a relatively good story about me, but the picture may be the worst of all time, which he capitalized. I don't know why. They disappeared my hair. Nature did that, bud. Nature did that. Trust me, I know, right? It's never fun, but you learn to live with it. And then had something floating on top of my head that looked like a floating crown, but an extremely small one. Really weird. I never liked taking pictures from underneath angles, but this is a super bad picture and deserves to be called out. What are they doing? And why? You look like that is why. What are they doing? Putting a picture on the cover of their magazine of what you look like. And for the record, the weird, quote, halo thing above you is the f***ing sun, you idiot.
Trump is really upset about the No Kings protests. He keeps posting these AI-generated videos of himself to make him look really tough. Clearly, we hurt his feelings. He's really upset that millions of people across the globe came out to say, "Fuck you, you stinky old pedophile." Like, look at these AI videos. He puts on this crown and a cape, and he holds this sword. And then there's like Nancy Pelosi and Joe Biden like kneeling to him. And he shared this other video of himself with this crown, and he's in a fighter jet, which someone pointed out, a fighter jet like that has like a weight limit of like 245 pounds or something. So there's no way that this obese person could actually get in there. And then this video was so disgusting because the fighter jet just drops shit on Americans, on protesters. Like, the president of the US shared this. That's so disgusting. The fact that he's just sitting in the White House or Mar-a-Lago or on the golf course or whatever, finding these videos and he's just reposting them like, yeah, that'll show him. Like, why are you so obsessed with us? He's so insecure. He's so easily triggered.
We have some big news right now. Donald Trump in the White House woke up furious at the fact that No King's Day yesterday turned out to be one of the largest protests in American history. Yes, I'm serious. So the White House was clearly monitoring what was happening on the ground across America. And while the final numbers were about 7 million people across the globe marched against No Kings, or in the United Kingdom, as they called it, No Tyrants Day. And while they all had a unified message that there is no one king or one tyrant who could rule over their people. This wasn't an anti-Trump protest per se, because you had Republicans, Democrats, and independents all out there. In fact, many Republicans came up to me and said, thank you for the work that you're doing, even if they say that they may not agree with all the coverage that I do all the time. So we're clearly breaking through, and the White House, well, they're not too happy about it. Donald Trump, in response to the No King's Day, posted a very bizarre video that I want you to see. It's of him with a king crown, essentially dropping feces on protesters in New York City. One of the protesters is liberal influencer Harry Sisson. And Donald Trump in this video has a king's crown. He's in this Air Force jet. And it's very odd. It's very odd. But aside from that, Donald Trump woke up furious this morning after No King's Day. He woke up and started threatening Colombia, which strikes on another sovereign country, just days after striking more Venezuelan fishermen off the coast of Venezuela. In a new post, Donald Trump writes, President Gustavo Petro of Colombia is an illegal drug leader, strongly encouraging the massive production of drugs in big and small fields all over Colombia. It has become the biggest business in Colombia by far, and Petro does nothing to stop it. Despite large-scale payments and subsidies from the USA that are nothing more than a long-term ripoff of America. As of today, these payments, or any other form of payment or subsidies, will no longer be made to Colombia. The purpose of this drug production is the sale of massive amounts of product into the United States, causing death, destruction, and havoc. And get this part. Petro, a low-rated and very unpopular leader with a fresh mouth towards America, better close up these killing fields immediately, or the United States will close them up for him, and it won't be done nicely. Thank you for your attention to this matter. He is furious this morning, one day after millions marched against him and his policies across the country. And well, he's now gone so far as to suggest that he, as the chief law enforcement officer of the United States,